The quantum anomaly appeared on Dr. Rachel Sullivan's monitors at 3:47 a.m., while most of the SETI facility slept. She'd been running her usual analysis of deep space signals when the pattern emerged, a perfect mathematical sequence that couldn't possibly be natural. "James," she called out to her research assistant, who had dozed off in the corner. "Wake up. You need to see this." The young physicist stumbled to her station, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "What is it, Dr. Sullivan?" "Look at these quantum signatures. They're organized. Deliberate." Rachel's fingers flew across the keyboard, bringing up more data streams. "This isn't background radiation or stellar noise. This is a message." Within hours, the facility buzzed with activity. Government officials arrived, military personnel secured the perimeter, and Rachel found herself briefing Joint Chiefs in her small conference room. General Marcus Harrison, a stern-faced man with steel-gray hair, studied the data with narrowed eyes. "You're certain this is artificial?" he asked. "Without question," Rachel replied. "The sequence contains embedded mathematical constants that couldn't occur naturally. Someone out there is trying to get our attention." As if in response to her words, every screen in the facility suddenly went dark. When they flickered back to life, a single message appeared: "Greetings, Earth. The Galactic Concordat welcomes you to a larger universe." The next 48 hours passed in a blur of diplomatic exchanges, encrypted transmissions, and growing tension. The aliens, calling themselves the Concordat, requested a meeting on neutral ground, a space station they would construct in Earth orbit. Rachel found herself selected as part of Earth's first contact team, along with General Harrison and a handful of other experts. As their shuttle approached the newly materialized station, its crystalline structure catching sunlight like a massive diamond, Rachel couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The alien delegation waited in a vast chamber that seemed to defy physics, its walls shifting between solid and transparent. 3 distinct species stood before them: the tall, ethereal Lumini with their bioluminescent skin, the precise, mechanical movements of the silicon-based Nexus, and the liquid metal forms of the Morphous. "We have watched your development with great interest," the Lumini representative spoke, its words translated by an unseen device. "Your species shows remarkable potential. However, protocol requires certain security measures before formal relations can begin." Rachel noticed General Harrison's posture stiffen. "What kind of security measures?" "A simple neural compliance scan," the Nexus representative explained. "Standard procedure for all new species. It ensures peaceful integration into the Concordat." Before anyone could respond, a soft hum filled the chamber. Rachel felt a slight tingling sensation, like static electricity dancing across her skin. The aliens watched expectantly, their expressions shifting from confidence to confusion to something that looked remarkably like fear. "Impossible," the Morphous representative rippled. "The compliance field has no effect." "Try again," the Lumini ordered, its bioluminescence pulsing rapidly. 3 more times they activated their device. 3 more times, nothing happened to the human delegation. Rachel's scientific mind raced. "The neural compliance scan, it's meant to affect our nervous systems, isn't it? To make us more controllable?" The silence that followed confirmed her suspicion. "Your weapons," General Harrison said slowly, "they work on the same principle, don't they?" The Morphous representative's surface swirled with agitated patterns. "This is unprecedented. All species are vulnerable to quantum neural manipulation. All species except us," Rachel finished. Her mind was already analyzing the implications. "Our nervous systems must operate differently somehow. Something about human biology makes us immune." The Lumini's light dimmed noticeably. "The Concordat must be informed. This changes everything. You understand, we cannot allow an immune species to remain uncontrolled." "Allow?" General Harrison's voice carried a dangerous edge. "I don't believe you're in a position to allow or disallow anything. Your primary means of control doesn't work on us. And now we know about it." The first contact chamber erupted into chaos as the aliens argued among themselves. Rachel watched it all with growing understanding. Humanity had just stumbled onto a massive revelation. They weren't just meeting aliens, they discovered they were fundamentally different from every other known species in the galaxy. As their shuttle returned to Earth, Rachel stared at the gleaming station through the viewport. "They're afraid of us now," she said quietly. "Good," Harrison replied. "Fear might keep them honest. But we need to understand why we're different. That's your job now, Doctor. Find out what makes humans immune. Before they find a way around it." Rachel nodded, her mind already formulating research protocols. Humanity had just discovered its greatest strength by accident, and she intended to understand exactly why their nervous systems defied alien technology. The game had changed, not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy. In her pocket, she felt her phone vibrate. A text from her quantum physics lab. They detected unusual patterns in human neural scans. Patterns that, impossibly, matched the structure of spacetime itself. This wasn't just first contact anymore. This was the beginning of a revolution in human understanding of themselves and their place in the universe. And Rachel Sullivan found herself at the center of it all, racing against time to uncover the truth before the Concordat decided how to handle humanity's unexpected immunity. The real question was, what would they find when they began to truly understand human biology? And what would the Concordat do when they realized just how special humanity really was? 3 weeks after first contact, Rachel Sullivan's laboratory at the Quantum Research Center had become the epicenter of humanity's most important scientific investigation. Holographic displays filled the air with neural mapping data, while teams of scientists worked around the clock to understand humanity's unique resistance to alien technology. Dr. Sullivan. Thomas Wright, her youngest researcher, burst into the main lab, tablet in hand. "You need to see these results from the genetic sequencing." Rachel looked up from her own work, dark circles under her eyes betraying countless sleepless nights. "What did you find?" "It's not just our nervous systems that are different," Thomas explained, pulling up complex molecular diagrams. "There's something in our DNA itself. A pattern we've never noticed before because we didn't know to look for it." The display showed a strange, repeating sequence in human genetic code, one that shouldn't exist according to known biology. Rachel's hands trembled as she manipulated the hologram, expanding the view. "This isn't natural evolution," she whispered. "This was engineered. But not by the Concordat. This modification is ancient, at least 200,000 years old." A throat cleared behind them. General Harrison stood in the doorway, accompanied by a tall woman in a business suit. "Dr. Sullivan, meet Patricia Morgan, head of Global Security Council. We need to talk." Minutes later, in a secure conference room, Patricia laid out the situation. The Concordat's diplomatic stance has shifted from cautious to aggressive. They're demanding access to human test subjects for what they call comprehensive analysis. "They want to dissect us," Harrison translated bluntly. Rachel shared her team's discoveries, explaining the implications of the engineered DNA sequence. Someone modified the human genome long before recorded history. The changes created a quantum resonance in our nervous systems that makes us naturally resistant to certain types of energy manipulation. Someone engineered humanity to be immune to the Concordat's weapons? Patricia asked, incredulous. "Not exactly," Rachel corrected. "The modification appears to have been designed for something else entirely. Our immunity to their neural technology is just a side effect, a lucky accident." "Lucky for us," Harrison muttered. "Not so lucky for them." A soft chime interrupted them. Rachel's tablet displayed new data from the ongoing analysis. Her eyes widened as she read. "This is impossible," she breathed. "The genetic modifications, they're becoming more pronounced. Every new generation of humans shows a stronger expression of these traits. We're not just different, we're still evolving." Patricia leaned forward. "What does that mean for us?" "It means," Rachel said slowly, "that whoever engineered humanity had a long-term plan. One that's still unfolding." The meeting was interrupted by urgent news. A Concordat ship had appeared in orbit, demanding immediate audience with Earth's leaders. But this vessel was different from the others. Ancient. The ship's commander, a being that appeared to be made of living crystal, requested a private meeting with Rachel. In a secure facility, under heavy guard, she faced the alien entity. "You've discovered the pattern," it stated without preamble. "The changes in your species' genetic code." Rachel tensed. "You know about this?" "We are the archivists," the crystalline being explained. "We remember what others choose to forget. Your species was not the first to be modified, but you are the last, and the most successful." "Modified by whom?" "We know them only as the predecessors. They saw something coming, a threat that required preparation spanning hundreds of thousands of years. They selected promising species throughout the galaxy and modified them, each differently. All others failed. Only humanity survived, thrived, and continued to evolve." Rachel's mind raced with implications. "The Concordat are afraid," the archivist finished. "Not just of your immunity to their weapons, but of what you might become. The predecessors' modifications are still active in your DNA, still pushing your species towards some final form." "What final form? What were we modified to become?" The crystalline being seemed to shimmer. "We don't know. The predecessors left no record of their ultimate goal. But they did leave a warning: when the children of Earth reach their potential, the galaxy will change forever." As Rachel processed this revelation, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. General Harrison burst in. "Doctor, we have a situation. The Concordat just launched what they're calling a containment fleet. 50 ships, headed for Earth." The archivist's crystalline form pulsed with light. "They fear what they don't understand. And they understand even less than they realize." Rachel stood, determination replacing fear. "Then it's time they learned. Humanity isn't just some accident of evolution or a threat to be contained. We're part of something bigger, something even we don't fully understand yet." As she rushed to coordinate with Earth's defense forces, Rachel couldn't shake the feeling that they were approaching a tipping point. The genetic modifications weren't just protecting humanity, they were preparing them for something. The question was, would they discover what that something was before the Concordat tried to wipe them out? In her lab, the genetic analysis continued running, showing ever more complex patterns emerging in human DNA. Patterns that looked eerily like the mathematical sequences used in advanced quantum computing. Humanity wasn't just evolving, they were transforming into something that had never existed before in the galaxy's history. And the Concordat's approaching fleet might just force them to discover exactly what that meant. The Galactic Concordat's high chamber was in an uproar. Representatives from 1,000 worlds argued across the vast amphitheater, their voices creating a cacophony of different languages and tones. At the center of it all stood First Speaker Varix, his crystalline form refracting light in patterns that reflected his agitation. "Order," he commanded, his voice cutting through the chaos. "We must maintain order." The chamber gradually quieted, but the tension remained palpable. On the main display, a holographic image of Earth rotated slowly, data streams showing the increasing quantum signatures emanating from the planet. "The containment fleet approaches Earth," Varix announced. "But we face a greater crisis. Our deep scans confirm the archivist's warning: the humans are changing. Their quantum resonance grows stronger with each passing day." Director Naira of the Science Council stepped forward, her bioluminescent tentacles pulsing with concern. The rate of change is unprecedented. Whatever the predecessors engineered them to become, it's accelerating. The presence of our fleet may be catalyzing their transformation. In the shadows of the chamber's upper tier, Observer Krell watched silently. His species, the Shadowed, were known for their ability to see patterns others missed. What he saw in the humans terrified him. Meanwhile, on Earth, Rachel Sullivan worked frantically in a newly constructed underground facility. The quantum signatures in human DNA had begun manifesting physical effects. Reports flooded in from around the globe, people discovering abilities that defied conventional physics. Another case in Brazil, Thomas reported, updating the global map. A young girl phased her entire school through a quantum barrier when a missile targeted it. General Harrison studied the map, now dotted with similar incidents. How many? Over 1,000 confirmed cases in the last 24 hours, Rachel replied. The modifications are expressing themselves differently in each person, but there's a pattern. They all involve quantum manipulation at a biological level. Patricia Morgan, now coordinating global response, joined them via holographic projection. The Concordat fleet will reach Earth in less than 48 hours. But we're getting strange readings from their ships. Something's happening to their technology when it gets close to Earth. Back in the Concordat chamber, alarms blared. The containment fleet reported critical malfunctions. Not just in their neural weapons, but in all systems based on quantum technology, which, for the Concordat, meant nearly everything. Impossible! Varix exclaimed, watching the fleet's systems fail. Their mere presence is disrupting our technology. Observer Krell finally spoke, his voice carrying the weight of revelation. The predecessors didn't just modify humans to resist our weapons. They created a species that naturally disrupts quantum technology. A species that could potentially render the entire Concordat powerless. The chamber erupted again, but this time in fear. The Concordat civilization was built on quantum technology. If humans could disrupt it simply by existing. On Earth, Rachel made another breakthrough. The modifications, she explained to her team, they're not just changing us. They're changing reality around us. We're becoming quantum anchors, forcing spacetime to behave according to different rules. Is that why their technology fails near us? Thomas asked. Yes, but it's more than that. The predecessors didn't just give us immunity or weapons. They made us living quantum processors. Each human is becoming a node in some vast calculation, a calculation that's been running for 200,000 years. General Harrison frowned. What kind of calculation takes 200,000 years? The kind that changes the fundamental laws of physics, Rachel whispered, looking at her latest data. We're not just evolving. We're helping to rewrite the operating system of the universe itself. In orbit, the containment fleet began to retreat, their ships struggling to maintain basic functions. But as they withdrew, something else appeared, massive structures, ancient beyond comprehension, emerging from quantum space around Earth. The archivist's ship sent a final message before vanishing, the calculation nears completion. The children of Earth have reached their potential. The change begins. In the Concordat chamber, Observer Krell watched the readings with a mixture of fear and awe. The predecessors weren't preparing humanity to fight us, he realized. They were preparing them to replace us. To become the new guardians of reality itself. Rachel, studying the ancient structures appearing in Earth's orbit, felt the change within herself and every human on the planet. Their consciousness expanded, connecting across quantum fields, becoming aware of layers of reality they had never imagined. We understand now, she said, her voice carrying to every human mind on Earth. The predecessors didn't modify us to be weapons or tools. They modified us to be their successors, beings capable of maintaining the quantum stability of the universe itself. As the Concordat fleet retreated into deep space, humanity began to grasp their true purpose. They weren't just another species in the galaxy. They were its intended caretakers, engineered over countless generations to preserve the very fabric of reality. The question now was, how would they handle this responsibility? And what would their ascension mean for the rest of the galaxy's inhabitants? The change had begun, and nothing in the universe would ever be the same. The ancient structures orbiting Earth pulsed with energy that defied conventional physics. Massive rings of impossible material, each dozens of kilometers across, had arranged themselves in a complex geometric pattern around the planet. Within them, humanity was changing. Rebecca Liu, a quantum physics student in Beijing, woke to find she could see the quantum probability fields around her. In Rio, a taxi driver named Carlos discovered he could navigate through quantum space as easily as city streets. Each hour brought new reports of humans manifesting abilities that seemed like magic but were, in fact, pure quantum mechanics expressed through biology. In her underground lab, Rachel Sullivan worked to understand what was happening. The holographic displays around her showed the transformation spreading across Earth like a wave of enlightenment. "It's not random," she explained to General Harrison and Patricia Morgan. "The genetic modifications are activating in a specific sequence. We're being methodically upgraded to handle more and more complex quantum operations." "Upgraded by whom?" Harrison demanded. "The predecessors are long gone. Who's controlling this process?" "We are," Thomas interjected, looking up from his calculations. "The modifications were designed to be self-directing. Each generation of humans has been unconsciously preparing for this moment, our collective quantum signature growing stronger until it reached a critical threshold." The archivist's ship, still maintaining its position near the ancient structures, sent a transmission. The crystalline being's message was both a warning and a revelation. The predecessors faced a crisis, it explained. The quantum foundation of reality itself was becoming unstable. They knew they needed to create beings capable of maintaining the universe's quantum coherence, but their own species was too rigid, too set in their evolution. They needed to engineer a new species from the ground up. Rachel watched the data streams flowing across her screens. "They chose humanity's ancestors because we had the right combination of adaptability and potential. But they couldn't just create quantum guardians overnight. The changes had to be gradual, building up over thousands of generations." "And now we're ready?" Patricia asked. "We have to be," Rachel replied. "The quantum instability the predecessors detected, it's reaching critical levels. That's why the transformation is happening now. The universe needs us." In the Concordat's high chamber, chaos had given way to resignation. Their sensors confirmed what the humans were saying: reality itself was becoming unstable, and their quantum technology was only making it worse. Observer Krell addressed the chamber. "We built our civilization on quantum manipulation, never realizing we were contributing to the universe's decay. The predecessors saw this coming. Humanity isn't our enemy, they're our salvation." The ancient structures around Earth began to align, creating a vast network that amplified humanity's growing quantum influence. Each human became aware of their connection to this network, their consciousness expanding to encompass new dimensions of reality. Rachel felt it too, the ability to perceive and manipulate the quantum fabric of space-time. But with this power came understanding. The predecessors hadn't just given humanity abilities, they'd given them responsibility. "We can see it now," she said, her voice carrying across the quantum network that connected all humans. "The universe isn't just made of matter and energy. It's a vast quantum computation, and every human is now a processing node in that calculation." In orbit, the ancient structures completed their alignment. The archivist's final message was brief: "The mantle passes to you. Remember what you were made to be, not conquerors, not rulers, but guardians." Humanity began to understand their true purpose. They weren't meant to dominate the galaxy or replace other species. They were meant to preserve reality itself, to maintain the quantum coherence that kept the universe stable. The Concordat, watching from a safe distance, saw their worst fears transformed into hope. Humanity's quantum nature wasn't a weapon to be used against them, it was a tool to save everything, including them. "We offer our assistance," first speaker Varix transmitted to Earth. "Not as rulers or subjects, but as partners. The universe needs both our civilizations, your quantum stability and our technological advancement." Rachel, standing in her lab one last time before ascending to her new role as humanity's representative to the galaxy, smiled. "We accept. The predecessors made us different for a reason. Now we know why." The transformation was nearly complete. Humanity had become what they were always meant to be, living quantum processors, reality anchors, guardians of the universal calculation that kept existence itself coherent. But as the ancient structures powered down, having completed their role in humanity's activation, new questions arose. What other secrets had the predecessors left scattered across the galaxy? And what new challenges awaited humanity in their role as quantum guardians? The next chapter in human evolution had begun, and with it, a new era for all intelligent life in the universe. 1 year after humanity's quantum awakening, Earth had become unrecognizable, yet somehow more itself than ever before. Cities floated on quantum fields, their architecture defying traditional physics. Transportation happened through probability tunnels, and communication flowed instantly across quantum networks that spanned the galaxy. In the newly constructed quantum nexus in Geneva, Rachel Sullivan stood before a gathering of human and alien representatives. The chamber itself existed partially in quantum space, allowing beings from across the galaxy to attend regardless of physical distance. "The universe is stabilizing," she announced, gesturing to the multidimensional displays that only quantum-enhanced humans could fully perceive. "The quantum decay that threatened reality has been reduced by 70% in just 1 year." First speaker Varix, representing the Concordat, shifted his crystalline form in acknowledgement. "And our civilizations have found a balance none thought possible." It was true. The partnership between humanity and the Concordat had evolved into something remarkable. Humans provided the quantum stability needed to maintain reality, while the Concordat's advanced technology, now modified to work in harmony with human quantum fields, helped manage and direct that power. Thomas Wright, now heading Earth's Quantum Integration Division, brought up new data. "We've discovered something interesting in the quantum signature of distant galaxies. The predecessors left similar modifications in other dimensions, backup plans in case we had failed. But we didn't fail," Rachel said, smiling. "We became exactly what they hoped we would be." Observer Krell, who had become humanity's strongest advocate in the Concordat, moved forward. "There's more. The quantum networks you've established are revealing echoes, traces of the predecessors themselves." The chamber fell silent. Even after a year, any mention of the mysterious beings who had engineered humanity's destiny commanded attention. "Not their physical forms," Rachel clarified, studying the data. "But their quantum signatures. Like footprints in the fabric of space-time. And they're leading somewhere." Patricia Morgan, now Earth's Secretary of Universal Affairs, stepped into the quantum field. "You think they're still out there?" "Not in our universe," Rachel explained. "But the quantum traces suggest they found a way to exist in a higher dimensional space. They're watching us, waiting to see if we'll take the next step." "What next step?" General Harrison, still adapting to his quantum-enhanced perception, asked. Before Rachel could answer, the ancient structures around Earth pulsed with new energy. Quantum signatures that had laid dormant for millennia activated, revealing a message encoded in the structure of reality itself. "To our successors," Rachel translated, reading the quantum data. "You have achieved what we hoped, becoming guardians of universal coherence. But this was only the beginning. The universe needs more than maintenance. It needs evolution." The message continued, revealing the predecessors' ultimate vision. They hadn't just created humanity to prevent universal decay, they had created them to guide the universe's evolution into its next phase of existence. In the quantum field, Rachel could see the possibilities unfolding. Humanity's role wasn't just to maintain reality, but to shepherd it toward something greater. The predecessors had given them the tools, now they had to decide how to use them. "We stand at a crossroads," she addressed the gathered representatives. "We can continue as we are, maintaining the universe in its current state. Or we can embrace the greater purpose the predecessors envisioned, becoming not just guardians, but gardeners of reality itself." The Concordat representatives shifted uneasily, but observer Krell spoke up. "We feared change, feared what humanity represented. But now we understand, change is necessary. Evolution is necessary." As if in response to his words, new quantum signatures began appearing throughout the galaxy. The dormant seeds of change the predecessors had planted were awakening, responding to humanity's quantum resonance. "We won't do this alone," Rachel declared. "Humans may be the quantum processors, but every species has a role to play in what comes next. The predecessors didn't create us to replace the galaxy's civilizations, they created us to unite them." The chamber erupted in discussion as representatives debated this new revelation. But there was no fear now, no panic. In just 1 year, the galaxy had learned that humanity's differences weren't a threat, they were a gift. As the session ended, Rachel stood at a quantum viewport, watching reality ripple with possibility. Humanity had evolved from primitive tribes to quantum guardians in the blink of cosmic time. Now they faced an even greater evolution, not just of their species, but of reality itself. "Ready for what comes next?" Thomas asked, joining her. Rachel smiled, feeling the quantum pulses of billions of humans and aliens working together across the galaxy. "We've only just begun to understand what we can become. The real adventure starts now." In the quantum field, new patterns were forming. The universe itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what its children would choose to become. The age of mere existence was over. The age of conscious universal evolution had begun. And humanity, those accidental guardians turned universal shepherds, would lead the way into a future even the predecessors couldn't have imagined. The end.